Hey y'all, it's Steffi and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to share just kind of some thoughts about whether the grass is really greener when you move from public accounting to industry. For those of y'all who don't know me, I am an internal audit manager, but I was in public accounting for about 7 years. I've been in industry for 3 years now, and it's usually around this time of the year during busy season or right before busy season when, I'm not a public accountant anymore, but you know what I'm saying. So this is usually the time when people in public accounting are thinking about whether, it's a good time to make a move in their career, whether going into industry is a good idea. A lot of doubts that start popping up, especially during busy seasons. So I just wanted to share and kind of reflect, now that I've been in industry for 3 years, some things that I miss about public accounting, what I don't miss, and maybe by sharing my thought process, it will give you a little bit of clarity for whatever situation that you're currently in. So yeah, so let's jump right into it. So I have a whole series about how to find a new job, what you should do if you're thinking about, maybe wanting to quit your job. So I will link that for you guys in the cards. I'm gonna sneeze, oh my god. So I've been in industry now for, like I said, 3 years, and it's so funny. During precedented times, not during these unprecedented times, but during precedented times, this has literally been an amazing experience for me, for my career. We'll get into some of those, highlights and whatnot, but this past year, as I'm sure a lot of us have been dealing with, has been probably one of the hardest in my, not in my career, but the hardest in a while. I wanted to caveat that a lot of these thoughts and stuff are for when we are in precedented times, and shout out to I can't take credit for precedented times because, I heard it from, I want to find him because, I like to attribute things to people. So this guy's hilarious. He's my spirit animal, I feel like. Just Me Rod. He's hilarious. Anyway, so precedented times, it's from him. So, I'm not clever like that. It's more during precedented times. The past year has been really rough. If you watch my vlogs, you kind of know. And I think a lot of us are dealing with it where we're feeling overworked. There's really it's very hard to find, a balance or when to shut off when you're working from home, all the other stuff. I'm doing my best to put some balance into my life when I'm working from home, and I'll share more videos on that if you guys want to see more of that type of content. But just keep in mind that a lot of what I talk about is going to be whenever, things are really good. Things are different now during these times. And of course, it's a luxury to be being able to find a new job, especially during this time. So I want obviously keep that in mind. I'm so grateful for my job, but I thought it would just be helpful for people who, if you're thinking about leaving public accounting and going into industry, just wanted to give y'all some food for thought. I'll go over a few things that I don't miss, okay? So one thing I definitely don't miss about public accounting is busy season. I don't miss busy season because, not necessarily because of the number of hours you have to work. I don't like that it's a numbers requirement. Of course, I understand it because public accounting, there's the business of public accounting and the financial side for the firms themselves. Of course, that's a factor, and until that gets reworked, I think that that's how, anyways. I don't work 40 hours a week at my current job, but I enjoy that it's my own work ethic, it's my own determination when I need to work more so to meet deadlines or because I need certain output, versus someone telling me, oh, you have to have at least 60 hours a week, during busy season, because I feel like sometimes it fluctuates. So just having the numbers requirement versus it being more output value driven, you adding value driven, that's what I don't like about busy season. But of course, who likes to work crazy amounts of hours for months on end? That's not fun either. On top of that, I really am glad that I don't have to track my hours. When you're in public accounting and you're doing external audit or you're doing some kind of client service, you have to be really diligent about tracking what you are spending your time on. That's Juicy standing up, by the way, if you can hear her. What you spend your time on, and sometimes it can get very detailed, and tracking your hours in and of itself can take, a good amount of time as well. So I definitely don't miss that. So we will have a project timeline, but it's not like, okay, this project, you know, so I guess technically if it's a 5-week project and you're working 45 hours a week, you know, let's just say, then you can figure out what the hours are, but we don't track it like that. We just have, okay, this is the deadline, do what you gotta do to meet that deadline. And then also, I definitely don't miss having to move from location to location to location when you're in external audits. Have a office that I go to, like a corporate office that I used to go to pre-COVID. Now I have my home office. In external audit, you are on different clients and you have to go to different offices, you know, throughout your area, wherever it is. So it, you know, potentially could be, you could be somewhere for 5 weeks and then you'd have to go somewhere else for 2 weeks and then go somewhere else for another 7 weeks, you know, so it's constantly moving locations and you don't have like your own like home base. I really like that. That's just kind of my personality. I like having like my desk, my space and everything. Of course my home office, but in our corporate office as well. You're kind of like a roamer when you're in external audit. So I definitely don't miss that. I have videos too to explain more what it is to be in public accounting, so those will be linked in the cards and description box as well. I am in internal audit, so I do travel, but if you guys know, I travel to Europe for the most part as part of my job, so you know, I am not complaining there, y'all, and we'll talk more about that here in a second. And I'm trying to keep these down to 3 things so that this video is not crazy long. So moving on to things that I do actually miss. I left public accounting not because I didn't like public accounting. I actually liked it and I had no intentions of leaving. But if you have watched this video, you will know why I ended up looking for a new job and why I found the current job that I have now. I like public accounting at a mid-tier firm, should I say. I didn't like it at a big 4. It was just too, it's not, the pace is not what I personally like, but at a mid-tier firm, it was definitely like enjoyable and I could have seen myself staying and trying to make partner eventually, but you know, shit happens. So yeah, I think everything happens for a reason. So what I do miss about public accounting, I really miss, obviously during precedented times, the regular promotions and raises. So in public accounting, during normal times, you will typically get a raise every single year. It's not necessarily a huge raise, especially if it's a non-promotion year, but you would at least get, you know, a little something, okay? In industry, it's not as common. It does happen. It's just not as common to get a raise every single year. Merit increases, sometimes if you get whenever you get promoted, they'll give you, you know, a bump in your pay, but it's not like expected and standard to get that every single year. Same thing goes with promotions. In public accounting, there's a very set like timeline for being promoted as long as you're meeting expectations, but in industry it's not that clear. It's not like you're an internal audit staff for 2 years and then it's almost like automatic that you're gonna get promoted to senior. It really is dependent on business need. Like if they don't need another senior in the audit department, you're not gonna get promoted. You know, even if you deserve a promotion, if it's not in the budget, because you know, it's when you're working for a company, everything is like based on what's been budgeted and approved, and if there's a business need, and if that is not there, even if you have the support of your boss or your boss's boss and everyone thinks that you deserve that promotion, you know, if it's not in the budget and not getting approved by certain other people, then that can, you know, cause you not to get promoted as well in the timeline that you are expecting. Another thing that I miss a lot about public accounting is that there is a pretty clear end to your projects. And when you work for a company and for internal audit, especially for my role, so the company that I work for is a private company, so it's not a traditional like public company where I'm only doing SOX controls, because then you do have a pretty clear end to your projects. And especially being part of a private company's internal audit department, you are pretty much like a business partner at times with the company. You know, like you may have done an audit and then there's these findings and recommendations that you are giving to them. So then you have to circle back around and make sure that it's being done, that it was implemented, you know, and other things. So sometimes it feels like projects don't ever like end. You kind of like, it's kind of like there's almost milestone end dates, but you have to revisit that stuff again. Some things can kind of drag out because in public accounting, you have to have a certain end date because you know your client needs to submit their 10K to the SEC, or they have it's a private company who needs to give a certain audited financial statements to their bank for covenant purposes. It's nice because I feel like I am working towards improvements with a company and like learning a lot about a company, and so that I really love. But just sometimes it's it can be a little bit difficult to be like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, you're never really done with something. You always have to revisit it. And whereas in public accounting, it just felt a little bit more final, that once you archive something, you're done for that year, and then you'll of course come back if it's a recurring client. One of the main things that I miss, because most of the people that I miss at my old firm are gone. So my manager's like, okay, I do miss that, there were always opportunities for continued learning, and you have resources in the firm that like technical experts. So I felt like I was constantly like learning from a technical perspective, like staying on the cutting edge of what's going on in the accounting world and in the audit world. Whereas in industry, like, you really have to be diligent yourself about researching and staying up to date, like signing up for the Big Four webcasts where they share technical updates and things like that. Like you have to take more ownership when you're in industry to stay in the know about what's changing in the accounting and the audit world. Whereas in public accounting, it kind of just is fed to you. Training materials that you can use. If there's a question by an audit team on like some very complex topic, they can, reach out to a specialized group. So there's always like those resources. Here are some things that I have loved about my current job. So this is obviously going to be specific depending on whatever role that you're looking at. I have another video that talks more about like my background and what I do with my current job and everything, so I will link that in the cards and description box as well for you guys. One of the reasons why I accepted this job and have enjoyed it so much is because I have gotten the opportunity to travel to Europe, on several occasions. I do manage our European and UK entities, so, that was part of the job, and I knew it going into it. That has been an amazing experience. It's not something I was ever exposed to in public accounting. There were some clients that had maybe like a one-year trip out to Europe for a site visit of some kind, but it was very far and few between. I did travel a lot when I was in public accounting, but it wasn't to Europe. There were some cool cities that I went to, but then there was also small towns that I went to. So the travel that I do now, because of the specific role that I took, I've really enjoyed. And of course, I'm talking about pre-COVID times, because I haven't been nowhere for like a whole year. And that's why I have this gallery wall, so I can remember my travel adventures and tulips, so that I can remember, Holland, the Netherlands, one of my favorite places. So yeah. Okay. The second thing that I've really loved is being able to really understand a company, like getting to understand the inner workings of it, the start to finish of things. Like, I felt in public accounting, it took maybe like 2-3 years to be on a client to really feel like I had a good, deep understanding of it. Because, as public accountants, we start off at like the financial statement level, we dig down into the actual account levels themselves, but there are certain parts of the company that you don't really get to know a whole lot about. Like, you may get to know high level the products and services that they provide for revenue recognition purposes, but like really understanding from the development of software side to how we, our customer service, to the accounting and then financial statements. So going into it from even more on an operational basis, I really have been enjoying, because I really understand my company, and all of the inner workings of it is very, depending on the company that you go to, it can be very complex because there's different entities, different service lines and products that are provided. And so getting to really have a good like foundation of understanding, because you work for a company versus being there for a certain amount of time as an external auditor, that I have I have loved. That's always something I've wanted in my career, is to get to know a company very, very well. And I feel like I've had that opportunity at my current job. The other thing that I really enjoy is that I can actually see like the value that I add in my company. There are some times where I felt like in public accounting, obviously you're adding value in that you are, for shareholders, you're making sure that the company is like, you know, that their financial statements are complete and accurate. I have really enjoyed being able to find efficiencies in my company where, you know, maybe people were doing something a certain way and it could have just been more efficient, so it makes their work life better and, you know, reduces wasted time on things. That part I have really enjoyed, like where I feel like I'm adding true value and I can see it. Or, you know, sometimes, you know, people who are control owners or process owners, it's not like they're not trying their best, but if you're in the details at times, you can't look at things high level. And so having someone come in, you know, being able to kind of see the big picture and piece things together. Also, you know, like when you're in accounting, sometimes you don't understand what is going on the sales side or what's going on in development, and you're just getting that information, but you don't have like you're not able to bridge the gap between, you know, how certain departments work with each other. And as part of internal audit, you know, that's one of the things that I do a lot. And so being able to make it very clear and put a clear picture on, you know, how things flow, that can provide a lot of clarity for people, maybe because people don't have time to do that. And for me, that's been really, you know, very fulfilling to be able to add value in that way. And then the last thing I think that kind of stands out to me is being able to build relationships with different people from different departments. You know, when I'm in public accounting, you usually are only in contact with, you know, accounting related people. Every now and then you'll have like an operational person, maybe for like revenue purposes or inventory or something like that, but you really interact most with just the accounting people in public accounting. Whereas for my role, you know, I am building relationships with people in accounting, people in FP&A, developers, people, you know, people in AP, billing, cash collections, sales, legal. You know, you're touching all of the different departments, and you're able to like kind of build like a camaraderie. Sorry, my notebook keeps falling over. Like building camaraderie with someone from your company. I really enjoy that, and especially because I've been able to, you know, meet people from other offices throughout the world. That I've really enjoyed as well. If you are thinking about maybe it's time for you to leave public accounting, I definitely recommend putting together like your wish list, kind of thinking about what is it that you are wanting out of your career and what excites you, what do you like about accounting, you know, the different things that you've been exposed to so far in public accounting, and put together that wish list. One of the biggest things on my wish list was having like good people to work with, and that's one of the biggest, I don't know why I didn't put that on there. One of the things I've also loved is my team. My team is amazing. We're a small shop, but we all collaborate together and we are a great team. Put your wish list together and have that like what is it that you really want out of your career, and use that to gauge whether, you know, whether public accounting is still, you know, doing good things for your career. Are you still learning? Are you still growing? Do you see like opportunities where you could stay there? Do you enjoy what you're doing? Do you not hate life? For the most part, you know. And yeah, so I think that's where I would start, and I talk more about that in my video about whether you should, you know, start to look for a new job or not. But hopefully by sharing a little bit about my job change, and now that I'm reflecting on it from a few years, hopefully that's just been kind of insightful. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope that it was helpful, and if there's any other topics you want me to discuss, then leave them in the comments below. Y'all are staying safe, stay healthy, and stay positive, and I'll talk to y'all in my next video. So, okay, not bad, not bad. So I've been dealing with like low back pain and sciatica for the past like 2 months or so, and it's only started getting better recently. And for the longest time, for literally 2 months, every time I would need to sneeze, it would literally like be a horrible shooting pain in my back. So I was always so scared to sneeze. So I just sneezed and it wasn't that bad. So we're on the mend. What was I saying? And so, yeah, but I also, you know, just so you know, okay, I don't know. Cause so that lady better be picking up her dog's number 2 because she's right in front of my yard. I am right here, honey. Y'all, it is 5:45 in the evening. I just got off a bunch of work calls, so I just wanted to take a break because I gotta work some more. And I wanted to take a break with you guys. And I can see my neighbors, they can see me. You best be picking up. Yeah, anyways, but she's picking up her stuff. Anyways, okay. So usually, yeah. And that's another topic for another day. So can you tell I'm bitter about that right now? Not bitter, but you know, it's a little disappointing, but anyways. But you know, I hope you'll understand what I'm trying to say, because I don't know what I'm trying to say. This is why I don't record videos at the end of my work days, but we're gonna try anyways. Okay, you know, like, yeah. You know, I'm really trying to say. So that has been really, like, I've really enjoyed that, and I've really, okay, shut up, Seth, okay. So yeah, and I just wanted to touch really quick on just some differences between being like a manager in external audit versus internal audit, company that you're in, but this lighting is horrid. Obviously it's gonna depend on your role and your company. No, I don't wanna go into it. Okay, I think this video is long enough. Okay.